Masonic aprons and their symbolism. Aprons. Well, what are they? An apron is a clothing garment that protects the wearer and stops their normal clothes from getting ruined. For example, a person who is cooking, doing carpentry, working as a blacksmith, or doing stonework would all wear aprons. However, these aprons are full length in size. By this I mean they cover from the chest down to the mid-thigh area of the legs, whereas a Masonic apron is worn from the waist down. The wearing of an apron has been used in religious ceremonies. For example, the Egyptian and Hebrew priests wore an abnet, which was considered an apron, and it is meant to represent authority. In the case of the apron of Masonry, it is an item that is used as a mark of favour from the worshipful master. The candidate is invested and is told that this is the badge of honour of the degree the Mason has just taken part in. Masonic aprons vary greatly depending on which country you are in, and also the aprons of the past were different to the more modern ones. Here I am focusing on those found in the Blue Lodges in the UK. After being initiated, the new apprentice is invested with a white lambskin apron, where he is told that it is an ancient emblem of purity and innocence, more honourable than the garter and older than the Roman eagle. He should always look after it, as it will look after him. However, when worn over the area related to animal passions, the pure lambskin signifies the regeneration of the procreative forces and their consecration to the service of the eagles. As the candidate is passed to the second degree, the lambskin apron is replaced with one that has 2 sky blue rosettes on it. The emulation ritual in use states that it shows the candidate's progress in the science of Freemasonry. In the emulation ritual book, there is no extended or traditional explanation of the sudden addition of 2 blue rosettes, or even the colour. Apart from these additions mark the progress you have made in the science. To mark the candidate's rising to the sublime degree of Master Mason, the apron has changed from a white lambskin apron with 2 rosettes to one with a sky blue ribbon around the apron, with an additional rosette on the triangular flap. There are 2 vertical ribbons on the apron, with 7 metal tassels attached to each of the vertical ribbons. The apron is no longer secured to the wearer by a white string and tied, but with a sky blue ribbon that is clasped together with a metal serpent. The standard text in the Blue Book passes over the whole change by saying, "To mark the further progress you have made in the science." Here is the explanation from the ritual book. "I invest you with the distinguishing badge of Master Mason to mark the further progress you have made in the science. Your white lambskin apron has been replaced by one with a light blue border, having 3 rosettes arranged in a triangle fashion with the point uppermost. The colour of the silk, the triangle and the 3 rosettes have special meanings. The 2 vertical ribbons typify, and the importance of which has already been explained to you. To which of these ribbons 7 tassels are attached to remind us that no lodge is perfect unless 7 brethren are present. That in the olden days the 7 ages of man were thought to be influenced by 7 then known planets, and no Master Mason was considered efficient unless he had some knowledge of the 7 liberal arts and sciences. The 7 liberal arts and sciences are grammar, rhetoric, logic, music, geometry, arithmetic, and astronomy. This is what the Masons are told. However, here is my own interpretation from my own experiences with my wealth of esoteric and serpent knowledge. The colour is blue because it represents the feminine and water, and it is the colour priests wear during the Great Rite. The 3 rosettes represent the Trinity, the Mother, the Father, and the Divine Child of the New Eon. The 7 tassels represent the 7 chakras that the serpent kundalini energy moves through on illumination. The serpent clasp is of course symbolic of this serpent energy and the wisdom that they desire so much. Aprons are worn by entered apprentices in the building of King Solomon's temple. The way the apron is worn is changed with each degree. 7 not only represents the chakras, the number 7 is a reoccurring theme within the craft. 3 principal officers, 2 deacons, inner guard and a tiler. These 7 represent the 7-fold constitution of man's nature. The 7 are the body, or rupa, vitality, or pranayiva, astral body, or linga, zarya, animal soul, or kamarupa, human soul, or manas, spiritual soul, or buddhi, spirit, or atma. The body, spiritual soul, and spirit being part of the teachings of St. Paul, for example, and the very God of peace sanctify you wholly, and I pray God your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. The Atma is spirit, Buddhi is the highest power of intellection, that which discerns and judges, and Manas is mind. They form the Trinity that was allegorized in Christianity as the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, making them a divine triangle for real man. However, the true Gnostic Trinity is, of course, the Mother, the Father, and the Divine Child. The eagles always remove the feminine from their trinity. The other 4 are known as the quaternary, a lower man, and are the materialistic side of man, passions and desires, kama rupa, life principle, pranayiva, astral body, linga sariya, physical body, rupa, making a square of matter, body, the imperfections of man that a Mason must overcome on his journey to enlightenment. The triangle has been used in ancient mystery systems throughout the world to signify or denote the spirit, or that which is not obvious to the eye. An upwards pointing triangle also represents fire. Looking at the religion of Hinduism, they have Brahma, creator, Vishnu, preserver, and Shiva, destroyer. Shiva is represented by a triangle and signifies the flame which rises upon a funeral pyre. This flame, in essence, points to heaven. Egypt is famous for its pyramids, which are triangular in shape. These places are said to be tombs for the dead, but as I have pointed out before, they are actually places where rituals took place for spiritual development and initiation. Even if they are, as academia suggests, tombs, then the burial chamber was said to have a sealed door or spirit door that allowed the dead pharaoh to transcend to the next life, again confirming the idea that the triangle represents the spirit. In Christianity, a spire is used on the top of churches and cathedrals to show this flame of the spirit in its aspirations in reaching for God or to the heavens. Spires do not start from the ground, but rest on top of rectangular towers, which matches to the quadrangle-shaped section of the apron. This part of the apron is meant to represent matter, the world of materialism, something that can be measured and weighed by the senses of man. Therefore, it is something with form, in which case it is an allegory for the body of man, like the triangle is allegory for the spirit of man, as well as a phallic symbol. The apron, if displayed with the flap extended, with the uppermost point pointing up, then what we have is the representation of the spirit of the candidate, outside of his body and not within his body or his consciousness. Yes, the candidate has gone through a cleansing ceremony of initiation, but at this point, the spirit does not know whether the body will continue with the ideals it has purported to do. The spirit is therefore tethered to the body via 2 cords, keeping the spirit and body together, and these cords take the place of the cable tow, reminding you to be cautious not to rush forward as you work to bring union between your spirit and body. Why does the spirit need to be tethered to the body? For although the body has said it will give up the want of monies and the laws of the world in the ritual he has passed through, the spirit is not fully convinced that the body will stay the course it has just started. The apron is made from a lamb, as the lamb itself is considered a symbol of innocence, as is the colour white, hence its use as primary colour of wedding dresses, baptism robes, etc. Within the initiation ritual, they are asked if they have about their person any metallic or valuable substance. This comes back to the idea that no metal substance was on the high priest when he went into the Sanctum Sanctorum once a year to offer devotion to the Most Divine. Fellow Crafts Apron. This apron is made from a white lambskin with 2 sky blue rosettes on the square. The triangular flap is now pointing down to the centre of the square. This is to signify that the candidate has made further progress in the science of Freemasonry, and his spirit, here symbolized by the triangle, has descended into his body, the square. Looking again at Hinduism, the downward triangle represents Vishnu, the preserver. It symbolizes rain, which preserves the fruitful earth. Therefore, the down-pointing triangle in the square means the descent of the divine spirit into matter. It thus represents the candidate has subdued his passion and material needs and is becoming in tune with his spirit. Although this bond is not fully complete, as the apron is still secured to the wearer by the symbolic cable tow represented by the cord around the waist. In this degree, they learn that plenty is depicted as an ear of corn near a fall of water. This appears on the apron, has 2 rosettes, as they are the seeds planted in the first degree and are now sprouting as the candidate understands his spiritual progress. As the sun and rain fertilize the seeds of the corn, so through wisdom and guidance the candidate can now begin to perceive his spirit within his body. The colour of the rosettes represent the colour of the heavens, these flowers on his body as emblems of the spirit's celestial origins. The entered apprentice degree is the foundation degree, preparing the candidate to begin his journey to enlightenment, ergo planting the ideas and principles within him. The fellow crafts degree follows the midpoint of him passing from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence on the path to enlightenment. The rosettes symbolize this as the soul and the body established in strength. The idea of the 2 pillars, one of the priestly pillar Jachin and the kingly pillar Boaz, establishing this mind house to stand firm forever on a mason's internalized temple. Master Mason's Apron. The apron has now been altered again, signifying the candidate's strengthening spiritual center, Not only has the third rosette flourished in the centre of the triangle, but the three rosettes together make a triangle, showing that the spirit of this man is firmly within the body in a balanced union. The apron now contains metallic substances, even though, in previous degrees, he had denounced them, ensuring none were about his person. But it should be pointed out that silver in ancient times symbolized the soul, as gold referred to the spirit. The cord has been replaced by a sky blue ribbon held together by a silver serpent, which in itself is a symbol that represents divine wisdom. The silver tassels are the light that comes from above, illuminating his intelligence. It is not surprising that there are 7 tassels, as white light is made up of 7 waveforms of the electromagnetic spectrum. These are attached to the sky blue sashes that are vertical, heaven's blue and heavenly light shining in the middle of the apron. The new-made Master Mason has gone through a figurative death and come out of it resurrected as a new being. The perfected initiate has mastered his lower nature and has become the perfected man. He is no longer ruled by materialistic views or wants, but now focuses on the more spiritual plane. Of course, in Masonry, this is all just symbolic, because they don't actually do the great work. They just get together for meetings and have each other's back and help each other's businesses. And these 3 degrees are what most Masons believe this is all there are. They pay their membership fees and enjoy the events and advantages of being part of the group, but most never get invited to the other higher levels, and most will never even know that those levels even exist. And it is within those higher degrees that the reality of the level of manipulation into world events really unfolds. More symbolism. The Premier Grand Lodge had ruled in the 18th century that its Grand Lodge officers would wear royal blue, which was coincidentally the ruling monarch's family colour. Scotland chose green, which was the Stuarts' royal house colour, and as this was the period of the Jacobite rebellion, it would have been unpatriotic to have green on the regalia in England at the time. It had been decided that the Grand Steward's Lodge would wear crimson, as such acting stewards still wear crimson today. The apron is light blue to distinguish it from the royal blue that is worn by the grand ranks. At one point, it had been suggested that the master of the lodge should wear orange, but that is the colour of the Dutch royal house, therefore the idea was rejected. In North America, some of the masters wear purple to differentiate between them and the Master Masons in the lodge. Installed and past masters. Installed masters and past masters' aprons have a slightly different design, as the rosettes are replaced by upside-down T-shapes. Now some theories say that they are 3 towers. This is more of a royal arch symbol, but they are not a tau symbol, but the T-cross, the symbol of the male side of the deity, and also to emphasize its phallic meaning.